is truly a fabled land, for nestled in a valley amidst these wooded mountains is a village that is home to a very famous little girl. Well, she was to become famous, that is. It all began one sunny afternoon when she was visiting her grandmother's house in the country. One of her most favorite things to do was to play hide and seek and frolic in the grass with Grandma's pet lamb, Little Wooly.
Looks like you found a friend there.
Yes, I call him Wooly.
So long now. Give our regards to your grandma.
I will. Let's play, Wooly. Where are you, dear? Grandma has something for you. Grandma made this. Do you like it? A red hood. Well, then aren't you going to try it on? From now on, you're Little Red Riding Hood. Grandma, thank you for my new hood.
You look so pretty in your new hood, and now everyone will call you Red Riding Hood.
Huh? How did you guys know that was my new name?
We were at your grandma's.
What other name would you be called wearing a pretty red hood like that? Now you be careful going home.
Oh, I will. And thank you.
The children of the village envied her, and even the adults took notice. And from that day forth, she was to be known indeed by everyone as Little Red Riding Hood.
And I think it's the least we can do to thank Grandma for your pretty new red hood. So I filled this basket with some of her favorite things for you to bring to her, all right?
Uh-huh.
There. I want you to be very careful, and you must return home before nightfall. Now, remember.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And so once again, Little Red Riding Hood was off through the woods to Grandma's house. Only this time she was carrying a basket full of good things to eat. And someone with a big nose, huge appetite, and real nasty attitude just happened to be lurking nearby.
Yeah, looks like picnic time. Wait a minute there, miss. Excuse me. What's the big hurry?
I'm going to Grandma's to bring her these goodies.
See ya. Somehow I don't think those goodies will make it to Grandma's.
Let him have it. Fire!
I'll get you for this.
Yeah? You won't get us. Because you're the one who's gonna really be getting it.
All right.
And here it comes.
And don't bother coming back.
But the wolf was not about to give up his plans for a picnic lunch so easily. He quickly circled back to lay in wait for Little Red Riding Hood.
Grandma will sure be surprised.
Looks like a nice shady spot up ahead there. I'll gobble her up right here and take the basket to go. I've had it, you dirty squirrel.
Come on, make my day.
Maybe some other day. I don't know what these woods is coming to. Everybody's so hostile.
Meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood had decided to pick a bouquet of wildflowers for Grandma from a meadow along the way.
Yoo-hoo, Red Riding Hood.
Grandma?
Surprise! It's only me. Hey, what about your bringing a posy to Grandma's house, huh?
I've already thought of that. I'm going to bring her a whole bunch of flowers.
Is there something wrong with this one? I mean, go right ahead.
Okay.
If I can just get close enough before she screams. Easy. One more little step. Yeah!
it.
Silly though he may have been, the wolf was still very, very dangerous.
You know, some days you're just better off laying around in bed. And this is looking like one of those bed. All right. Look out, Grandma, I'm coming in.
Yes, who is it?
It's me.
I mean, it's one of your friends. A little surprise visit.
Just a minute.
Now I need a little something for disguise. You'll never know it's me.
But Little Red Riding Hood was just moments away from finding out.
Grandma will love these pretty posies I picked.
However, at this moment, the last thing Grandma needed was posies.
This is really some kind of living. All right, Miss Riding Hood, Grandma's waiting.
Grandma, it's Red Riding Hood.
Oops.
May I come in? I'm alone.
Certainly, my child. The door is open.
You're not feeling well?
Yes, dear. Come closer. I'm feeling poorly.
Grandma, what big ears you have. They've grown so much larger since the last time I was visiting with you.
Well, they're all the better to hear you with, my dear. You know what I mean, don't you?
And what great big eyes you have.
Just all the better to see you with. Now, wouldn't you agree?
And your big mouth.
All the better to eat you with.
Now it's time you join Grandma, my little Red Riding Hood.
Hush. That was definitely the sound of a young girl in very grave danger. And it was coming from the old lady's house. We better hurry. It's that wolf. I was afraid of this. But maybe I just might be able to save him. There's only one way to get them out of there.
And so the wolf had not been very clever after all. He had simply swallowed Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother whole.
I never much liked wolves, looking at them from the outside.
I know what you mean. The question is, what do we do with him now?
My special stuffing ought to do the job. Fetch Grandma's sewing kit.
By the time Grandma finished stuffing and darning, the wolf would awake without realizing anything was amiss, for he still had a bellyful. Meanwhile, Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, the hunter, and his dog all waited patiently to see what would happen next.
I needed that. Nice nap. I think he's coming out.
Humans don't seem to agree with me. They leave you with that stuffed feeling. And thirsty. Oh well. All right. Bucket of water to wash these guys down with, I'll be good as new. Empty. This ought to put out the fire. What's happening here? I'm swelling up and getting heavier by the second. Can't hold on any longer.
Careful now.
Well, that's what can happen when you bite off a little more than you're able to chew.
No offense, Granny, but remind me never to eat your stuffing. Well, that big bad wolf won't be bothering anyone again, thanks to your grandmother here.
You're the one that we should be thanking.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Hunter.
The mystery is, what was in that stuffing?
Yeah, Grandma, what made the wolf puff up like that?
The oatmeal. I love baking, but I always have all these cookies left over, so I figure cram his belly a pound of salt and he'd provide the water.
And that evening, when Little Red Riding Hood returned to her home in the village, she had quite a tale to tell. Thank goodness that her parents had taught her never to lie. Otherwise, they most likely would not have believed her incredible story and forbid her to repeat it. Then you and I would never have learned the famous story of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf.